Hey guys, it is so cold out here again all of a sudden. I don't know what happened to our spring weather, but seems like winter's come back for a couple of days. But one of my favorite things to do whenever it's really cold outside is to get a blanket, grab some marshmallows. What I love to do is sit maybe around a campfire whenever it's kind of chilly outside, and you roast your marshmallows and you get all toasty. Hopefully I don't catch my marshmallows on fire, that'd be bad. But I love to sit by a campfire and warm up, and I love the sound of the fire, and it's just to me it's so nice and relaxing. So today the story that we're going to talk about involves fire, and it involves three guys that loved God so much that it almost cost them their lives. So let's start talking about this story. Okay. So there was a king of Babylon, and his name was King Nebuchadnezzar. So King Nebuchadnezzar did some really great things, but then he became very proud of himself, and he thought of himself as greater than God. So King Nebuchadnezzar built a golden statue so it would shimmer in the sunlight and look so great. He built a statue of himself that was 90 feet tall. That is 4 of my houses stacked on top of each other. This thing was huge. And he told everybody, listen, when you hear the music stop during the day, when the music stops, you are to turn around and to bow down to my statue. So that's exactly what people did. When they would be out doing what they were supposed to be doing, and they would hear the music stop, they would turn, they would look at the statue, and they would bow down. Except for 3 young Israelites. And their names were Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Those are some kind of different names, aren't they? But they knew that that wasn't the right thing to do. They knew that the only God that they should worship is our true God. There's only one true God. And so they thought, you know what? No matter what this costs me, I'm going to do what I know is right. So King Nebuchadnezzar had actually told his helpers, hey, if you see somebody that's not bowing down to my statue, you throw them in the fiery furnace. Throw them in the fire. Because they're supposed to bow down to me. I am the greatest. I'm the best king there could be. I'm the God. So you throw them in the fire for not worshiping me. And so Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they knew that. They knew that it would cost them, that it could potentially cost them their life if they did not bow down. But they were more worried about what God thought about them than they were even about dying. So when the music stopped, everybody else bowed down to the statue. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they stood up. And so King Nebuchadnezzar said, hey, throw them in that furnace. So that's exactly what the helpers did. They took them and they threw them in the furnace. So after a little while, King Nebuchadnezzar went over and he's looking in the fire and he's like, wait a second. I don't understand. So he called his helpers over and he's like, hey, how many people did we throw in this furnace? And they were like, well, there was 3 guys. We threw the 3 young guys into the furnace. And King Nebuchadnezzar is looking and he's squinting and he's looking harder. And he's like, but there's 4 people in that fire. And they were like, no, there's no way. We only threw 3 people in there. He's like, I'm telling you, look, there's 4 people in there. So King Nebuchadnezzar says, hey, you guys come on out of this fire. And guess what? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego all came walking out of this fire. This fire that is what King Nebuchadnezzar, he meant for it to kill them and for it to destroy them. They walked out of this fire with no burns on them, their hair wasn't burned, their skin wasn't burnt, their clothes weren't burnt. You know when you sit by a campfire and you smell like the campfire, you smell like the smoke. They didn't even have that. They had just spent this time in this fiery furnace and they had no signs of the fire on them at all. Because you know who that 4th person was? God had sent an angel to protect them because they had done what was right. They had done what they knew they could only bow down to their one true God. And so God honored that and he sent somebody to protect them. So the 4th person that King Nebuchadnezzar was seeing was this angel that God sent to protect them from this fire that was supposed to destroy them, because they refused to worship anybody but our true God. So this week, I want you to think, this week and for years from now, I pray that you guys will remember that you want to do what God calls you to do. Even if that means, and we've talked about this for a while now, that even though sometimes other people are not following God, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, God still calls for us as his best friend. He still calls for us to do the right thing and to follow him and to do what he asks us to do, even if it means we're the only ones doing it. So I pray that you guys are able to remember that you're able to think about that whenever you're faced with a decision to follow God or to follow the people around you. I pray that, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you are able to stand firm and you are able to do what God called you to do. Just like every other week right now, I miss you guys so much. I am praying for you. I can't wait to see you. I pray that we are back together soon. This is 5 Sundays now that we have done online, and I thank you guys for watching every week. I love to hear about you guys and what you're doing while you're watching our video. But I do miss seeing you guys. I miss hugging you, and I miss just being together in class. So I'm praying for you, and I'm praying that we get back together soon. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.